friends, it's Laura. I'm mostly crafty here on YouTube and Instagram. Today is Sunday, February 15th. Today is Flosstube number 6. This is the 11 billionth time I've recorded this intro because someone keeps interrupting it. Ruby in the other room. So this is a channel about cross stitch and stuff. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. I wanted to start out by saying thank you to everyone who's been watching. I am at 95 subscribers, so I'm very close to 100. And I want to do something fun when I hit 100 or maybe 150. I'm hoping I can hit that by mid-March because I may have already picked up some goodies and pre-ordered some goodies from Nashville Needlework Market. So no jinxing here, but tell your friends and share the channel. And hopefully we can celebrate that sometime around mid-March. Today we're going to talk a little bit about some acquisitions / thrifting that I've done for some goodies. Then we'll talk about stitching the Winter Olympics, starts and finishes, progress and plans. Nothing too crazy today. Hopefully it can get you in and out of here since I've already spent half an hour filming absolutely nothing. Terrific. First, thrifting. I went to Goodwill 3 times this week. I was at a different Goodwill because I had a dentist appointment in a different part of town, so I swung by there. It's a much larger Goodwill. It's like the biggest Goodwill in Seattle, and they have, I mean, just like so much stuff. It's like 3 times the size of my Goodwill. It's huge. And they usually have a better selection of frames, and I'm on the search for a frame for my blessing sampler. So my blessing sampler is 12.5 inches long, but 4.5 inches tall. So it's kind of a weird size. And you can often find weird sizes at Goodwill because people donate custom frames. So they're, if they have a wonky size, they buy a custom frame. So you can find nice, high quality frames there all the time. So I went and I found a couple of things. I found this frame, which is, if not custom, at least like put together pretty nicely because it's like one of these kinds of frames. There's no glass and it's like a weird foam core art print. I don't know. But it was $6. I thought, oh, this is the right size. It is not. It is like half an inch too short. But that's okay. That'll go in the frame stash. I also found these little guys there. Fire King. I collect like depression glass and vintage glassware. The depression glass pattern I typically collect is a pink one. It's like cherry blossoms. Or Imperial is the second one I kind of have a couple pieces of. But I would love, pieces of all colors that are shiny and sparkly. And so these were in like a bag in the houseware section. So for $3, I got a little, so that was exciting. I also picked up a cake platter for my sister, but it's on the other side of the room, so too bad. Then I went to my regular Goodwill yesterday, and then I popped back today because I had seen these frames yesterday and I did not pick them up and I had regrets. So today, after doing some morning stitching and working out, popped over, and they're just really simple, not too expensive frames. They were $2 a piece. I grabbed 3. But that is a really easy way to frame, a 4.5 inch, 5 inch, instead of putting in a hoop, pop it in that. And I can paint these as well. I also found some more glassware. I also collect milk glass, and I got this little candy bowl. And this little doot, doot. So that's terrific. Oh, I also got this cute little thing today. This was $3, and it's like a little cross stitch / I don't know, needle point. It's tiny, old timey. I liked that a lot. Yeah. And then I also got this Woobles kit for $4. But the best part is that this little Keroppi Woobles has all the pieces, including a Woobles Keroppi crochet hook. Isn't that cute? I want to learn to crochet, so I picked that up. And then, most importantly, I picked up these little cake tarts, pie tart tins, whatever. This kind has a removable bottom. Only one has this. They were in a bag with a bunch of other houseware stuff, but for $6, I got 6 of them, and I used those already. I thought that's a cute way. I've seen people finish smalls, and so that leads me into my FFO, my start and finish and FFO for the week. This is Quirky Quaker by Darling and Whimsy. This was part of the Cupid Collection Volume 2 that you can't get anymore because it was on sale for the first 2 weeks and it's not on sale anymore. But I started this Thursday, I think, and I finished it last night. Super easy. It's 939 stitches. I changed the DMCs to whatever I had on hand. So that's ecru. That's part of the, it's charted in Roxy Floss or in DMC. The original red 321 that was in this was giving me big, like Red Hat Society, the like red and purple together. And I was like, I cannot do this. So I switched that out for 915. And then the other 2 colors I had just kind of on hand because I'm stitching Stephanie's Cross Stitch the Globes Heart Deco in those. It's like 3609 and then 154, I think. But they were all things I had like in other projects just kind of laying around. And this is a 25 count vintage Lugana that I thrifted in Cleveland. And I had dyed it purple for Twonies and then decided not to use it because I didn't like it. So to finish this, it's pretty easy. I took this part and just kind of traced around it with a pin on the back of this and gave myself, you know, like an inch or 2 border, cut that out. And then I traced this onto some cardboard from a box of crackers from Trader Joe's. I did that twice. And then I had an old towel and I did the same thing. So this is sandwiched, the fabric, the towel, the cardboard, and then I just hot glued it all together kind of in the round, stuck it in the tin, and then I hot glued it to the back. So pretty low key. Took me about 5 minutes to finish it. And there we go. You can kind of see there, that's kind of what it looks like. Is it perfect? No. Do I care? Also no. I've had 3 starts total this month. That one, which was a start and finish. And then this one is another start. This is Shaded Stitchery Closely Kept number 5. I'm not even sure that that's right side up. I'll put a picture of what it's supposed to look like. I don't like this so far. I'm going to probably just rip the stitches out. This is using watermelon fabric from Weeks. And then the floss is also watermelon from Pirate and Robin. And I thought it would give a really cool tone on tone because this is variegated, but you're just not seeing it. Kind of looks like a dragon. So I'll probably rip that out. I only had 169 out of 1,500 stitches. So not a lot of loss there. My second start for the month is Heart Deco by Stephanie at Cross Stitch the Globe. Pretty sure this is the, that's the right way up. I'll put a picture of what it's going to look like. When I saw this, the first thing I thought was Black-Eyed Susans or sunflowers. Like, this is exactly what this picture looks like, which is terrific. I love purple coneflowers, and I thought, well, I would love a purple coneflower pattern, so why don't I make it purple coneflower? So I pulled a bunch of flosses to give purple coneflower vibes. I'll put the final conversion either down below or on Instagram when I finish it. All from Stash. And so I'm just kind of converting it. It's giving butterfly vibes to me now. Like, it looks a lot more butterfly-y. But I think it's really cool. I think it'll be really cool. I've seen a blue version on Stephanie's Instagram. It looked tremendous. Just like a fun stitch. So I am at 601 out of 2,700 stitches. I'm at 22%. This is some fabric that I thrifted. I originally thought it was 8 up. It's not. It is 18 to the inch, so I think that's 9 count because I'm stitching it over 2, but it's some sort of even weave. It was like $4 for 2 yards. I don't know that I would stitch like a large project on this, but I think for smalls, I think it's working out just great. Terrific. That was also my start on day 1 of Stitch the Winter Olympics. If you're unfamiliar, Stitch the Winter Olympics is kind of a stitching fun game put on by the Naptime Stitcher during now the Winter Olympics. And there's a prompt every day for something to stitch on. Not right now, hon. I'm busy, okay? Thank you. So the first day was opening ceremony, so do a new start. So I started Heart Deco. Day 2 of Stitch the Winter Olympics was a patriotic stitch for Parade of Nations. And you can make it for any country. And I mentioned last time I wasn't feeling super patriotic about the US stitching. But instead I decided to stitch for Canada. And I stitched on Twonies. Oops, there we go. So I got all of the body done, including all of the white, and I started the kind of the stripes on this side. This is stitched on 32 count Orphanage by Tabby Cat Linen, and I'm using Pirate and Robin. The black is a combination of Wolf and Abyss, and the white is, I don't know, something. This is, hold on. I'm at 48% on Twonies. I've got 1,600 stitches done total. I will also be stitching on this for today's Stitch the Winter Olympics, and the theme is hockey, which you're supposed to stitch on, what is it? You're supposed to stitch on, hold on. I've got all the prompts in my lap. Hockey, stitch a whip go or something towards a goal. Well, my goal is to finish this, so I'm gonna stitch on that. Day 3, the prompt was Winter Olympics, stitch on a winter related project. So I stitched on Winter Folly by Nora Corbett. This one I am really close to finishing. I am 73% of the way done. I have almost 3,400 stitches out of 4,600 total. So this week I finished the hedges and then like this little bits here and the trees. So I finished the border. And then there's like a bunch of snow and there's 750-ish beads in it. So I'm almost done with the real stitches. I color completed 4 colors last week. And there's only like 8 colors in it total. So I got a lot done. That was terrific. Day 4, Olympic rings. Stitch with a floss or on a fabric in a color from the Olympic rings, blue, yellow, green, black, red. I worked on Blueberry J. That will be a recurring theme, by the way. Blueberry J by JEDxStitch. This is also my sunny day project where I stitch on it every day that it's sunny. And if you're following me on Instagram, it's been sunny a lot. It's been sunny all the time. I have stitched on this 11 days in February, including today. That's insane. That's insane. It has been so freaking sunny here. So I am at 28% on this. I have 3,200 stitches out of 11,658. Everything is called for DMC, called for Threadworks, 32 count, malachite by Fiber on a Whim as the called for fabric. So it's really trucking along. I'm entirely done with this corner down here. And I'm kind of moving my way back up. So I do love stitching on this. I really do. It's just like a lot. I didn't expect to stitch on it that much. Day 5, stitching with Tina and Milo, who are the stoats that are the mascots of the Winter Olympics. So stitch on something with an animal. But ow! I stitched on this again. For day 6, the theme was curling, and the prompt is a stitch on something you were encouraged, sweep, to stitch on by a friend or social media. So I stitched on JEDxStitch's I Like Cross Stitch. It's looking kind of like a pig with a ball in its mouth. Because I was encouraged / coerced to stitch it by Stephanie, Cross Stitch the Globe, for Julie, Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World's birthday, hashtag not a fascist. But then everyone in my stitchy group is also stitching this. So I have 309 stitches total, so I did about 100 of this kind of burgundy color. I had to go pick up more floss because I was completely out. Day 7, short track speed skating, stitch something with a border or a row of something. This I started, this was Thursday, and I started this because it had a border on it. So I stitched the Darling and Whimsy Quirky Quaker love letter for day 7. Day 8, skeleton. Stitch something with the Halloween or fall theme. Well, I have one fall project or Halloween project, but I couldn't be faffed to get it out. So instead I stitched on my, what is happening here? Disco Ball of Doom, because it's scary how little progress I'm making. I crossed the 10,000 stitches mark. I've stitched about 1,000 stitches on this in the past month, which is great. So I'm at 67%. I've color completed 5 more colors since the last time I showed this. And I got all of this pink in. There's like 3 different pinks over here. I got all of that in. I'm also using this for the Chaos Sal hosted by Nikki at okay, there's a Catherine at Accounting My Stitches, and then there's Nikki Accounted Cross Stitch. This is hosted by Nikki. They're doing it with a Chaos Cottage Garden Threads palette, but I'm doing straight Chaos. Day 9, snowboarding. Stitch something from your favorite designer. Wow, she's back. JEDxStitch is my favorite designer. I love her so much. I stitched on this again yesterday because it was very, very sunny. The last 2 projects I worked on, besides the Winter Olympic stitching, were Witch's Road by JEDxStitch. It's kind of getting blown out here. This is my full moon stitch, and so I need to stitch on this close to 400 stitches every month. The full moon this month was February 3rd. I ended up working on this quite a bit, and I took out all of the stitches in these 2 colors. The called fors were like really not standing out on this fabric. This is some 18 count linen I dyed myself. Kind of a bluish, reads a little more blue-green in person, but they were just absolutely ghosting. And I noticed when I looked up other finishes on Instagram that they were this color, which is where the moons are in the pattern, like much brighter on everyone else's. And the called fors are a mix of fancy flosses that I don't have. So I switched DMCs. I took out this and I took out this and I restitched them in other colors. I made a mistake here, which is fine because I'd already made a mistake on this top one that I need to finish up. So I'll try to fit that in before the next full moon in March and keep going with those new colors picked out. I think I picked out 13 and 15 or 14 and 15, something like that in DMC, and the much more like bright yellow into the spectrum versus what they were. My last project I've worked on is Local Conditions by Satsuma Street. Get that in there. This is a temperature stitch. And I work on this every Sunday morning on Stephanie's Stitchy Zoom. So this is super fun. The only thing is it's been so green lately. This is kind of getting blown out a little bit, but it's like day after day of color 16 and 470 with very little change because it's been so warm here, which is kind of crazy. But this is a super fun stitch. On local conditions, I'm at 12%, which means we're 12% of the way into the year. It's kind of crazy. 711 stitches. And this is probably 18 count Ada. It's like kind of a pinky orange that I dyed myself for another project that I didn't end up using. So there's that. So that's the progress this week. I've stitched on a lot of different projects. In terms of plans, I'm going to keep doing the Winter Olympics stitching. So today is hockey. It's supposed to be a whip go project or towards any goal. I'm just going to stitch on Twonies if I can find it. Right here. Because I do want to finish that, and it's hockey related-ish. Tomorrow is Nordic Combined. Stitch something that is part of a series. I don't really have anything that's part of a series because I don't have that many whips. TBD. I don't know what I'll stitch on that. Tuesday, Olympic Village, stitch something with a house or a building. So I'll probably work on Winter Folly to try to wrap that up on Wednesday. 218 Biathlon, stitch a piece of your choice to stay on target. I'll just pick one. 219 Figure Skating, stitch something with letters or numbers. The only thing I have that has letters and numbers is Summer Quaker. So maybe I'll stitch on that on the 19th, which would be Thursday. 220 Bobsled, stitch something you want to stay on track to finish. I'll pick one of these, whatever I feel like. 221 Medal Ceremony, stitch something with flowers or a floral motif. What do I have that has flowers on it? What's my whips? I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. I don't know. It's a good one. And then 222 Closing Ceremony, stitch something you plan to complete in 2026. I mean, probably the disco ball, because my goal is to complete that next month. I am going on like a mini vacation next weekend with my sister. So I'll try to take something that doesn't take a lot of like flosses, or I might just bring a couple flosses to try to color complete on. So we'll see. I don't think I want to start anything new. I bought some stuff from Nashville Needlework Market. I pre-ordered the Coneflower pattern, but I think it's the Blue Flower. And I bought the Valdani floss. I pre-ordered the Grace Sampler by Shaded Stitchery. And I also bought the floss pack for that. And then I pre-ordered Summer Wren as a paper pattern and Book Goddess as a paper pattern because I want to start those pretty much as soon as I get them. Although I'll need to get some sort of fabric for Pink Wren. I think it's stitched on a Roxy Floss Co. fabric. And I'm not gonna ship that with the tariffs from Canada for, like $35 or whatever. So I'll have to figure that out. But yeah, besides that, I think that's all my progress. If you're doing Stitch the Winter Olympics, I'd love to hear it down below. What you're stitching on, or if you have any suggestions, because I think the floral one is the one I'm going to have the most trouble with this week, picking one out. But besides that, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please share the channel so I can get 5 more subscribers. And I will talk to you guys next time. Have a good one.